bestie. Hi, how are ya? In today's video, we are going to talk reading goals for 2025. So first things first, Happy New Year, bestie. This is actually the first video for 2025. And I thought what better way to start it off than talking about my reading goals, what I plan to do, what's been changed, what's been added, because you already know, like, I'm a goal setting girly and I aim and strive to achieve those goals, even though sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. But I try, we try, right? But it's already that time where like you're feeling motivated, you're feeling like I want to do all the things, you're feeling like I'm doing too much, but I don't care. I'm still going to do all the things, or maybe not do all the things. Whatever route you take, the point is that this is the perfect time for goal setting. And mind you, like for the most part, I've been starting off the goal setting since last year. It's so funny to say that because we're still in the beginning of January. I don't even remember how many goals I have because you know your girl is like over the top and likes to do the most. So let's just talk about these goals. Okay, so there's literally no kicking off this video without a Goodreads challenge. Reading goal challenge. Oh, Goodreads reading challenge. Yes, that. You have to kind of like, as a book girly, you have to have. You know what? Whatever. As a book girly, you have to set a reading goal for the year. And most of us do it through Goodreads. I was thinking of setting it for 75 the way I did last year, but I only got to read 73 books. And I just feel like I don't want to do the most. You know, I'd rather set like a specific number and not feel pressured, you know, especially towards the end of the year, feeling pressured like,
oh my God, I gotta reach this goal.
Then you don't reach it and you're like,
damn, I hit 73. All I needed was 2 books.
And you know what? It's perfectly fine because I try not to get at myself for things like that. However, I can't stand here because I was going to say sit here, but then my brain was like, Ginnie, you're not sitting. So yeah, I can't stand here and, you know, act like I'm not human sometimes, I guess. And like if I don't overthink things, well, yes, that I definitely do.
I definitely overthink things and then I get down on myself or feel some way about myself or, you know, all the things.
Anyways, yeah, my reading goal for this year, I set it for 52. Why? Because I figured a book a week, right? There's 50, yes. 52 books, no. I figured there's 52 weeks in the year. Yes, that should be like a good enough goal, you know, like a book a week. I can do that. Even if I don't read a book a week, according to like my statistics, I typically read like about, I'm gonna say 2 to 7 or 8 books a month. So, you know, it just depends on the month and what I'm doing and how I'm feeling. I figured 52 is just the perfect number. I know that I will most likely go over that, but my main reason for setting up 52 as a number also is because I want to make sure that I prioritize reading this year. I am not reading because I'm trying to hit a goal or just reading because, oh my God, my TBR knockout. I want to make sure that I finish more books, you know, like just things like that. The other thing that I want to remember is to always remember quality over quantity. I don't want to just be reading and then not retaining anything or not enjoying the books, you know? Also, just finding good books and making sure that I want to read them. Yeah. And that leads me to the other goal, which I've had this one, I believe, on my yearly reading goals in the past. Yeah. And that goal is to maximize reading old books that I already own and not new books. Okay, all right, wait, hold up. Listen, hear me out. Because we're really not going to talk about the fact that most of my TBR knockout challenge is new books that were hauled last year. But you know what? Mind your business. Mind your business. We're going to act like that wasn't said. Okay? Okay. And regardless, you know what? It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, those are last year's books. So they still count as old books. Yeah. So the point is that I still own them. So technically, I'm still reading books that I own. Right? Right. Another goal that's very important to me for this year is mood reading. Bestie, I know you've been around here for long, but if you haven't, hi, how are you? Stay a while. We love making new besties here. As you already know, I am a mood reader. And as a mood reader, I just literally read things based on my mood, how I'm feeling, what the season is, what that book feels like to me. If I want to read it just because of a song, if I want to read it just because of something I've seen on TV, if I want to read it because I feel the connection just by looking at it, if I want to read it because it has a beautiful cover, whatever the case may be, I want to prioritize mood reading this year. The reason that I'm making that like one of my top priority as like a reading goal for this year is because as a booktuber, I tend to emergencia, ayúdalo. Oh. Yes, very rude, very disruptive, you know, New York City. There's always something happening. But anyways, what was I talking about? Where was I up to? Oh, yes. As a booktuber, I tend to go with what I see, right? Because I myself love consuming booktube videos as well. A lot of times I tend to see, ooh, this sounds good. The book's recommended. I want to read them. I want to get them. And then I end up not really mood reading because I'm so busy reading things just because I don't want to have FOMO and I want to be with the times, with the trends, with everything. And then not to mention the fact too that I also would think of things and think of videos and content, same thing, right? Yeah. And start reading books just because of like whatever season it is, whatever type of national holiday is there. A lot of times I find myself like not really enjoying them because I'm kind of forcing myself to for a video, which is okay, even though I never got to do those videos. Why? Because that around the time when my computer also died. Yeah, lovely times, great times. Yeah. Anyways, I am still going to be creating content based on like certain books. However, I'm doing it a little bit more smart, just a little bit more smarter because, special brain sometimes. It does its own thing.
So I know it's easy for your mind to wander. I want you to really concentrate on me.
I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not like reading just to read, because I want to enjoy reading and enjoy what I'm reading. And we all know that reading is subjective, right? And sometimes we don't know if we're going to enjoy that book, and that's okay, because that's why a DNF exists, right? And with that, I also want to prioritize DNFing a book. Yes. In case you don't know what DNF means, that means did not finish, or I don't want to fucking finish this book. That's how it is in my terms. DNF is the nice way of putting it. Ginnie's way of putting it is I don't want to finish reading this fucking book. It can go to the dumpster. It can go out the window. It can just die. It can just not exist anymore.
Damn!
I feel very strongly, I feel very strongly about DNFing books. I usually have no problem with DNFing books, but sometimes there are some books that slip through the cracks and then I feel bad, or I'm like, you know what? I want to keep giving this a try. And then when I finally reach the end, I feel like, why? Why did I finish this? Why did I finish this? Yeah. Like, why did I stick it to the end only to get this anticlimactic thing, or sometimes I stick it to the end and it is good. Like the ending is like, oh, wow. But all of that time getting there, right? So that's why DNFing this year is going to be a thing. So bestie, don't be surprised if I have like 20 DNFs this year. Listen, I'm horrible like that. Yes, I am the villain. We are villains here. I am the Darkling. Hello. This is why my Patreon has Darklings and Luminaries. I am the Darkling. I am the Dark One. This is what I do. I don't care. So speaking of Darkling, yes. You know what? Every time I bring up the Darkling, I just start going off into fantasies, and then I'm just like, and it just makes me blush. But yes. Anyways, talking about Darkling. Speaking of Darkling, that sounds better. This year, I really want to focus a lot on my Patreon. You know, like I was still doing the book club reads. I was still doing the readathons. I was still doing just being there. But I want to do more than that for my patrons, because I know that last year it wasn't the greatest year for me. Besides, you know, Miss Epilepsy doing her thing, I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and then the slip and fall from my hand where I got, you know, fractured, and, you know, like it's still recovering. It's not fully 100%. What? I don't know what language that was, but I think it was like a mix of Spanish with English, because I felt like I was saying one. What, you know what? I'm not even going to explain that. You just, let's move along. It's not 100%. It does hurt, and I'm still not able to do things. So that kind of took a toll last year, even with content here. So it's like this goal is not only to focus on my Patreon more, but also focus on my content more. Because by the way, besties, I ended the year with a bang. I reached 500 plus subscribers. Yes. I am super excited, like that there's like 500 plus of you that love me, love my content, and is here. Just that alone sparked something in me where I'm just like, you know what? I got to keep this going, because I have a whole community of people that look forward to my videos and that love seeing my crazy ass here in this space called YouTube. So I just want to make sure that I can deliver and be the best that I can be as your bestie and your favorite content creator. So yeah, that's another goal. So then that leads into my book club, right? Which is totally book club. I'm still wondering if I'm gonna change the name, just because I like love the whole idea of the dark side and the light side. The dark side being my side, the light side being my bestie Sierra's side. I'm like wondering if Totally Book Club is a good name for it. Like, I don't know what to name it. So besties, if you could think of something that kind of complements that whole light and dark thing, or just like something, I don't know, cooler. Don't get me wrong. I like the whole Totally Book Club, and it does kind of match because it's like we are totally booked, right? But I don't know. Anyways, why am I talking to you about this? I don't know, but you know what? You're here to listen, right, bestie? So here we are. But back to book club. Okay, so I want to prioritize my book club reading too, because I'm reading so many other things or doing things for videos and stuff like that. Sometimes my book club reads start like going down. Then it's the end of the month, and that's when I'm trying to make sure I finish it. You know? And I don't feel that's fair, because I'm very big on engagement, right? Like that's the whole point of a book club or a buddy read, is to engage and talk about the books as you're reading it. Not like I'm gonna wait till like the last week of the month and then I'm gonna read it and then I'm going to give all my thoughts. I feel like that's not fair to my community. I should be like the main one reading the book, and you know, like from start to finish, because I do have a reading schedule in there. So I'm just like, yeah, I have to lead by example, I guess you could say. Like, you know, I have to be the one that is there again for my besties. With that, I want to also have like discussion questions and just share things that I find. And yeah, just be in my book club and not wait to the end. And that's that. Okay, bestie, all this talking is making me thirsty. So, my beverage of choice, and grab your beverage because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be rambling a lot in this video because, I mean, we're talking about goals. And I do have quite a bit more. So, yeah. Anyways, yes, my beverage of choice is Poppy. I am a crackhead for these things. And oh, while we're here, look at the nails. Oh my God, they are like stunning. I feel like a kitty cat. Or like the darkling that I am. I don't know. There's just something about these nails that just do it for me. I love it. I love it. Because you got to be classy. You got to be very demure and have your straw there. So good. Literally tastes like I'm drinking Coke. Love it. All of those goals that I mentioned literally ties in with this one. And that is, I still want to continue to read every day. Now, the goal is to read at least 25 pages every day. Am I going to get mad at myself just because I didn't read 25 pages that day? No, the point is to read. Even if it's just 2, 5, 10 pages, I am perfectly fine with that because it's like at the end of the day, I still read that day. And this is more like towards physical pages, not just audiobook. I love my audiobooks and I'm still going to be listening to audiobooks, but I also want to make sure that I'm reading like physical pages, if that makes sense. So the way that I'm going to track my reading is with this app that's called Bookly.
That sentence sounded weird, but we're just going to continue going because if not, this video is going to be like an hour long. And then it's going to take me forever to edit it. And I don't want to be editing forever because then that ends up hurting my thumb. So, yes, let's keep going.
It's called Bookly. I use this app, I think, for like the past 2 years now. Actually, I'm surprised that I never mentioned it. I don't think I ever mentioned it, but it's an amazing app. And by the way, besties, this is not sponsored. I literally pay for a yearly subscription to use this app. It's literally just $20 for the whole year. And you get like a lot of cool things in it. Am I here to do all the talking and promoting for that? No, because I'm not sponsored. But I will still share this amazing app with you because it's like such a great tracker. And I really, really like using this app. That's why I continue to pay for it every year. But yeah, that's like the main thing. Continue tracking through the Bookly app that I use. And of course through Goodreads, because you know, Goodreads is also a somewhat good tracker. And this year I'm also planning to use Storygraph and track more there as well, because I mean the stats in there, I love how they break it down. I'm making sure that I keep up with it and it's not just a January month thing and then it goes down the drain and then I have to be catching up and then I'm just like, you know what, forget it, I'm not even going to use Storygraph. Last year I did, and I think on the Bookly app it says like 600. Oh wait, so that means I wasn't using it for 2 years. Or maybe I was and there was days that I'm missing. I think that's what it was. But anyways, so far I have been reading for 600. I think I'm up to like 610 about there days. And that is amazing. I love the fact that it counts the days for you and you set like your pages goal and then it like tracks that for you as well. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But yeah, let's continue. On to the next goal. So bestie, with all the tracking that I'm doing, I also want to have like a quarterly check-in. So I don't know if I'm gonna do a quarterly or how would you call that? Anyways, every 6-month check-in. I don't know which one, but I'm leaning more towards a quarterly check-in. This way I can continue to stay motivated. I can fill you in on the details of like book hauls. How's my TBR knockout challenge going? books I want to unhaul. Yeah, just things like that. Maybe upcoming videos. You know, like I literally want to have like a whole conversation with you and let you know like where I'm at, what's going on, updates, all that fun stuff, because I mean, we're besties, right? And that's what besties do. We here for each other. And yeah. So something that ties into that goal is using and keeping up with my reading journal. I need a creative outlet. I need to make sure that whatever I'm thinking in that moment or feeling about a certain book, I have it documented. So then when I bring you videos, I don't forget. I want to make sure that I set aside some time, whether that's like a weekly thing or whether that's like a daily thing. It doesn't matter. I'm not setting like a specific day, but I want to make sure that I set aside some time to like reflect on like what I read that day. If nothing really happens, then there's really nothing for me to document. I want to make sure I keep up with it, because it's like in the beginning of the year, there's all that excitement and motivation, and then it starts to just disappear and dissipate, and then I just don't touch my reading journal. It's pretty much a disaster when that happens, because then I'm like, damn, I didn't even touch this. Wow. But yeah, and the main reason is because I feel like it would be easier for me to review and talk about what I've read and just look back and skim through like everything that I jotted down, because with epilepsy comes forgetfulness. So therefore, if I needed to point something out in a book or remember something, chances are by the time I record my wrap-up video, I may have forgotten about it. So I feel like having the reading journal will help me with that, hopefully. Yeah. Remember when I mentioned FOMO? Well, I'm going to try to avoid FOMO. Is that a sustainable goal? Probably not. But I feel like if I'm speaking it into existence, that maybe, even if I do fall into FOMO sometimes, that it doesn't happen all the time or as much as last year. I feel like even if, let's just say, if 10 books was due to FOMO and I brought it down to like 5 or something like that, I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, that's still very much a win for me. So yeah, I'm just gonna try to avoid having that this year. And I kind of feel like my mood reading will help that issue. Maybe. I guess we'll see. You'll know by the end of the year, bestie. Let's see. Then there's the other thing that I feel would also help me accomplish a lot of the goals that I mentioned, like my 52 books reading goal, my maximize reading old books over new books, my mood reading, and just, like just reading in general. And that is to keep up with my reading challenges, which is the TBR knockout, which is this right here, which is, if you don't know about this knockout challenge, I will link the video, up here. And yeah, if you don't know, now you know. This is my reading challenge that I do every year. And then I also have another one called the Getting Lit in 2025 yearly reading challenge. And again, if you don't know about that one, I will have the video linked. It'll probably come a little bit after though. Okay, yeah, about now. There you go. Like after you finish watching this video, you can watch these videos. Yeah, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, because I mean, bestie, you're here already. So why not make it official, right? Make it official. Like, hello. This year, I'm only doing a few. Of course, I'm doing my TBR knockout, my series knockout challenge, my Getting Lit in 2025 challenge, and then any other challenge, seasonal challenges that I do, which I was supposed to do a winter one, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it this year. I might still do it and just lessen the prompts, but we'll see. Stay tuned for that if that happens. Or maybe I'll just do it in my Patreon. as opposed to doing it as a whole video, but we'll see. We'll see. Then the other one that I'm doing as well is the 25 books to read in 2025, which be on the lookout for that video because it should be coming soon. What other one? Oh, my Read the World video, which I showed you in the TBR knockout video, the principles that I made for that. But all of these challenges are also in my Patreon. Listen, I still have a giveaway for that. So if you're on Discord and you're looking for a fun place to just chill, not a lot of people, I mean, not a lot of people yet, because we're speaking into existence that I'm gonna have a nice big community. So join, because it's going to be free. It's a giveaway, okay? It's free. And let me know down below if you would like to join the Discord and we could set that up. Okay, bestie, so you know that thing called nature? Well, I kind of want to start going out into society more.
This is kind of a hard goal to talk about because I'm very much an introvert, but I'm also an extrovert. So therefore I'm an ambivert, but then it also depends on my mood and how I'm feeling and all those extra nonsense, and if I want to deal with the humans of the world that day.
With that being said, I kind of want to try to go to the library and different bookstores and cafes and just anything that brings me comfort and happiness. Happiness. Yes. Which is usually in the form of books and in the form of coffee and in the form of cute things. So, with that being said, yeah, I want to visit these places more and unfortunately smell the New York air and yeah, hear all the noises and deal with all the blinding lights and possibly get migraines. But you know what? That will also give more content, which, because I love you so much, I don't mind sacrificing things and dealing with people. And I mean, it'll bring me some kind of joy too, I guess. With me also visiting libraries, I will be able to use the library more. And another thing I want to use more is my Kindle. So like that, I don't go into this impulse buying thing, you know? Even though, to be honest, bestie, you know, I could never do a book ban. That's just no. Going to bookstores, buying books, especially when I'm manic, that's not such a good thing. But I can't help it. I can't help that. I have to buy books, okay? There's just no way of me not buying books. I feel like I do okay. Again, unless I'm manic, and then I do a lot of impulse buying, and it's not the greatest. I mean, all my bipolar besties would know the way that works. But yeah, I'm going to try to limit impulse buying by using the library more, you know, requesting books through there and seeing if I like the book enough to buy it. And the same goes for my Kindle. I want to use it and read more books on there. Again, see if I like it, see if it belongs on my bookshelf. Just try not to buy the book and then read it and then realize I don't like it, you know?
I learned my lesson last year, and that was a wonderful thing. Last year was when I started using the library a little bit more, and that's how I read Assistant to the Villain. Thankfully, I didn't buy it that day in Barnes & Noble just because it looked cute and it had beautiful sprayed edges. Instead, what I did was I borrowed it from the library. It didn't have the cute sprayed edges, but that's okay, because you know what? It saved me money, because that was a book that I DNF'd last year. And I am so happy that I did that. And that's how I learned the lesson of use the library more or use your Kindle more, so like that you don't get books that you don't like and then you're going to unhaul it anyway. And then that was a waste of money because I could have bought another book that I liked. Yeah, that was a lot of rambling.
Okay. Back to the goals. Okay, bestie. So as you already know, I was trying to be that girl, right? I was trying to be a classics girly. I was trying to get into my classics era. Now, the big question is, did I achieve getting into my classics girly era? Well, you see, I kind of, sort of, maybe want to, yeah, just no. No, I didn't achieve getting into the classic girly era. I did read 2 classics last year. I think so. 2. Yeah. The Bell Jar and Ana Karenina. You know what I realized? I realized 2 things. The Bell Jar taught me you like owning certain classics. Ana Karenina taught me, bitch, why the heck did you think you was gonna read a 800 and something pages classic as your first classic? And then besides that, I just didn't enjoy it much. And then I was forcing my way through it because I was doing a buddy read. And yeah, that taught me, girl, you don't like those type of classics. So no. You could be a different type of classics girly. I could read things like Dracula. I mean, that is a classic, but it's the type that I feel like I would enjoy because, I mean, vampires, hello. Things like Stephen King. Listen, before you come at me and say,
Ginnie, that's not a classic. That's just Stephen King. That's not a classic because it's not written in like the 1500s or the whatever hundreds.
to me it is, okay? Because it's written in like before I was born and it's written in the 80s. To me, it's a classic, okay? And things like V.C. Andrews, again, I don't care if you don't think it's a classic, but I think it's a classic. And yeah, I'm going to read that stuff. Also, things like The Exorcist, Psycho, Rosemary's Baby. I think you get the point here, right? Those will fall into the cult classics, right? I don't know, but you could let me know down below. Oh, actually, you know what? I am still interested in reading like Crime and Punishment. I just hope I don't regret it when I do finally feel the urge to want to read it. And A Picture of Dorian Gray, is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. And there's like a few others that would fall into like the major classics, or like, you know, the educational type classics that I still want to read, but a lot of them I took them out. Like The Secret History, I don't know if I want to read that. The Count of Monte Cristo, I don't know, because that book is like woohoo, mad thick and big and intimidating, and I think the font is like teeny tiny. I don't do well with teeny tiny fonts. Miss Epilepsy does not do well with those type of fonts, so I don't know if I'd want to read that. I guess I am a classics girly, but I'm just more of a cult classic girly. I think that's what those books that I mentioned before would fall under. Yeah. The other goal that I have been thinking of, and I was thinking about doing it last year and I never got around to it. I think the reason this goal came about was definitely when I went to Puerto Rico for the first time in forever as an adult, when I went to see my dad for the first time in forever. Yeah, that goal is to read 2 to 4 Spanish books, you know, like books written in Spanish. I feel like this is that year for me, you know, like this is that year when I'm going to read a full-blown Spanish book. And I'm pretty excited for that. For a few years, I've been so focused on classics, right? And turns out I don't really like them.
Ginnie, why would you read a Spanish book?
Hello, firstly, if you're new here, hi, how are you? I'm Puerto Rican, yes. And secondly, I can speak Spanish, read Spanish, and write Spanish. And that's a period. Is it the greatest? No. It's fluent, okay? It's okay Spanish. Sometimes it flows and my like brain is like, but there's a lot of times where it's like what, how do we say this, what's that word, how do you pronounce this? Yeah, but I can still read it. The book might take longer to finish because it's not in my first language, which is English, because I'm a New Yorican, you know, I'm a Puerto Rican that was born and raised here in New York amongst other New Yorkers here. I just feel like, yeah, that's gonna help me, and that's going to make my Spanish better, and I'll know better grammar in Spanish, and I'll know how to pronounce things. Yeah. Yeah. It is a little bit intimidating, don't get me wrong, but I figured I could either start with like a YA in Spanish or maybe like a rom-com in Spanish. I don't know if I want to go into middle grade, but I'll see where I fall, you know? And then I'll just adjust and do whatever from there. When you know another language, it's just like, why let it go to waste, right? Do you read things in other languages, bestie? Like, let me know down below, because that's very interesting and cool when people can do those things, you know, read, write, what was the other one? Oh, and speak in another language. But yeah, bestie, you know, yeah. So yeah, bestie, let me know what your reading goals are for this year down below. And yeah, I need to go because I've been rambling this whole time and I need to get reading. It's the weekend. But I see you in the next one and I love you. Bye-bye.